If you are an artist, you are probably aware of Inktober. It's a monthly art challenge in October where you make a drawing every single day based on a list of art prompts. Now, you might be asking, Taneli, why are you talking about Inktober in December? Well, because Inktober is not the only monthly art challenge, and because I completely slacked out of Inktober this year, I felt like I had to redeem myself by taking the December art challenge called Drawcember instead. Now, there is only one problem, and that is that it's already 20th of December as I'm recording this, and I haven't painted a single prompt yet. So I figured, what if I just put all the prompts in one single painting and made the ultimate Christmas painting instead? So I started googling Drawcember prompt lists and came across this one by Lusty Pigs that I really liked. The way we are going to do this is that I'm going to put the list of art prompts on the screen and I will cross them out when I've added them to the painting, so you guys can follow along and see how I am progressing with the challenge. Now, since I have only 4 days to finish this painting, as well as edit and upload the video to maintain my weekly uploading schedule, I think it's better I stop talking and get busy painting. In order to have a place for the prompts, I started sketching a setting heavily inspired by the nature we have here in Finland. I wanted to establish the color schemes early on, and I decided to go with this combination of gold and purple to make it look like a late afternoon sunset. After sketching the sky, I moved on to the background, which I wanted to look like a forest fading to the distance. For anyone wondering, I'm painting this one with Photoshop because it allows most freedom to adjust and change things during the process. I even started painting things on different layers, but having painted so long with Microsoft Paint, I pretty much just forgot them soon after, and now my layers are a complete mess. After sketching the background, I included this cabin house to the right. It was clear to me that I needed to have the option to place prompts both inside and outside, so having a hut with windows facing the point of view seemed like an obvious choice. Finally, I included a pine tree in front of the hut to sort of blend the building better inside the painting and at least slightly mask any mistakes I might have made with the perspective. The most important thing about the sketch was to just have a setting where I can start placing the prompts, and I will go back to work on the details and polish the rough parts later. Alright, now that we have the base sketch down, it's time to get to the fun part and start including the prompts. Putting both of my brain cells to work, I thought my best strategy was to try to compile as many of the prompts together as I could. I started with the Christmas tree first, since I figured I could use the ornaments as a way to cross multiple different prompts off my list. First, I designed this candy cane ornament to get rid of both candy cane and Christmas tree. Now, I'll be honest, I'm not exactly sure why I added these ball ornaments, especially since I added so many other ones later. I didn't really need to add them, but at least I got Christmas ornaments off the list, and I think they, as well as the ribbons I added later, do look very nice. Next, I designed these candle ornaments to cross over the Christmas lights, and they also gave the Christmas tree just a little bit more flash. Finally, I added a star on top of the tree, since I figured that since stars is a prompt on the list, all I needed was to find one more place to put a star in, and I would get stars in plural off the list as well. Continuing with my ornament strategy, I designed this snowflake decoration to cross snowflakes off the list. I guess the funny part is that since I just kept copying the same design, none of these snowflakes are actually original. Anyway, since it's a common custom to put presents under the Christmas tree, I took this opportunity to get presents off the list as well. I do have to say that presents are not commonly put outside during the winter here, but maybe they're just decorations and the real presents were the friends we made along the way. Maximizing the potential of my Christmas tree, I completed it by designing this small Christmas bell ornament to get rid of Christmas bells as well. Once it was starting to feel like my Christmas tree could hold no more junk on it, it was time to move on. I thought snowman was the easiest one to knock out of my list, so I put one right in the middle of the yard. I also gave the snowman a nice little scarf, which got scarf off the list as well, and then gave him a pair of oversized earmuffs to get rid of them as well. Now, just as a reminder, I want to mention that my goal is to first put all the prompts in the painting and only focus on things like lights, shadows, and making everything look coherent afterwards. Anyway, since snowmen don't usually come into being from miracles, I wanted to add someone building it. This also gave me an opportunity to knock a couple other things off my prompt list. The boy obviously needed to wear a hat, being outside during the winter, so that was an easy one to cross off the list. Next, I figured that since Christmas sweaters often have winter patterns on them, I could get both of them done by giving the boy a Christmas sweater with winter pattern on it. So I designed this simple winter pattern on Christmas colors and then distorted the design in a shape that looks something like a sweater. So that's Christmas sweater and winter pattern done. Having already crossed 13.5 prompts during my second painting session, I was contemplating on taking a break from painting, but since I was so close to the halfway mark, I decided to struggle a couple more prompts. Since I needed only 2 more, I started looking for easy ones and came to a conclusion that Santa and reindeer go together like Tom Hanks and a volleyball. So I finished this painting session by painting Santa flying on the sky with his reindeer sleigh. I even managed to save some time by painting only 1 reindeer and copying across the sky to form a flock of reindeers. Now we're making great progress, but I feel like if I continue explaining every step, this video might become a bit too long and monotonous, so I feel like this is a good place to speed it up a bit with a faster time lapse. And with that we got 19 out of 31 prompts done. Now I have to say that I have really been enjoying painting like this. Normally I'm the one to plan and design most of my paintings very far in advance, but since I've been so limited with time on this one, I have been pretty much just painting the first thing that comes to my mind. So it has been very refreshing to do that for a change. However, we still have 12 more prompts to add, so let's go do them and see if this painting actually turns out any good. I started day 3 of painting by starting to design the interiors of the building. I added the fireplace to get that off the list and then added some Christmas stockings on top of it to cross them off as well. Next I included this kid watching out of the window, wearing some cozy pajamas and holding a blanket. Now I made all of these a little bit too small first, but I adjusted them to be a lot bigger later on. I even moved the chimney on top of the building to be more in line with the fireplace. Next I moved upstairs and included the mandatory drunk and drinking champagne and very flamboyantly throwing a bunch of confetti out of the window. So that's 2 more prompts done right there. Next I moved back outdoors and started designing this fence as a way to set up my next few prompts. Behind the fence I added some snow-covered rocks to give a bit of a hiding place for the Santa's little elf to hide behind. I designed the elf to be more like a little gnome, since that is how they are often seen, at least in Finnish tradition. Next I got snow globe off the list by placing it on the elf's hand. I like to think that these snow globes are like elves' equivalent to Palantir network, and when they look into it all they see is Santa's big eye giving them orders. So basically like mobile phones for elves. Anyway, after that I added this small gate to the fence and included a mailbox on top of it just to have a place to put some holiday cards in. Next I changed this small cellar door to be closed instead of open so I could put Christmas wreath on the door. And that's 1 more prompt off the list. Then I moved upstairs and added mistletoe on the window to get rid of that one as well. I'm not sure if it's actually common to put mistletoes in windows, but I was running out of ideas here, so give me some slack please. And I even added a set of Christmas lights for a good measure. Funnily enough, the final thing I need to complete my prompt list was to add another star, since somehow I never added another one after the one on Christmas tree, so I gave the snowman a star decoration and turned him into a sheriff snowman. And that's 31 out of 31 prompts done. Alright, now that we have all the prompts included, the last thing to do is to clean it up and make it look as nice as possible. So let me do that one real quick and then I'll show you the final result.
1 eternity later.
Now I have to say that was probably the most intense 4 days of painting that I have ever done. Now the last thing I want to say before showing you the final result is that make sure to let me know in the comments your thoughts about this video, and as per usual feel free to suggest video ideas or art challenges. I would really love to include your suggestions more in the creation of these videos. Other than that, I want to thank you for watching this video and wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And here is the final result of this week's painting.